What's up, everybody? Who is excited to celebrate the creators of The Last of Us? All right, everybody, please join me in welcoming the incredible craftspeople to the stage. First up, we have co-composer David Fleming. Editor Timothy Good. VFX Supervisor Alex Wang. Production designer Don Macaulay. Costume designer Anne Foley. Cinematographer Ksenia Sereda. And of course, we have co-creator and executive producer Craig Mazin. All right, did everybody like my hokey pokey while we were inviting everybody on stage?
It's so green.
Welcome, everybody.
Thank you.
We are so excited to have you all here today to celebrate the absolutely gorgeous season 2 of The Last of Us. Craig, at the beginning of this season, you and I talked about adapting the unadaptable.
Yeah.
Can you talk about how each of these wonderful creators helped make that happen?
They didn't. I've actually never met them. The truth is that Neil and I are vastly overcredited for the success of the show. We obviously work really hard on it, and everything that we do draws from the source material, but these are the people that bring it to life and put it together, and they deserve so much credit. I'm so happy that you guys get to meet them today. The beauty of the lighting from Ksenia and the incredible smorgasbord of 1,000 costumes from Anne, the world that Dawn builds from wood and steel and concrete and dolomite and possibly asbestos, and then all Alex does is create the impossible out of ones and zeros and does these beautiful things that move us. Tim puts it all together in ways that are surprising and moving, and then David adds this gorgeous melody to everything. And all of it is necessary. All of it makes the show what it is, and they all deserve a round of applause for everything they've done.
Some of you have been here since season 1, some of you have just come in season 2. Regardless of how long you've been with the show, talk to all of us about your favorite episode to work on and what made it so special.
I'll start.
There you go.
Weirdly, there's so many, but the one that really was my favorite was Long, Long Time, the Bill and Frank episode. That was like, honestly, one of it was, from the moment I read that script that Craig wrote, it was just like, this is incredible. Never read anything like that in my life. And was terrified to put it together because, like, if I don't do it right, we're gonna lose. So, but ultimately we won, and it was a great episode. So that was my favorite.
I would say it's a toss-up between episode 2 and 6. In 2, obviously getting to do close to 600 fittings with the infected, even the residents of Jackson, was such an accomplishment that my team amazingly pulled off beautifully. But also in episode 6, I loved seeing Ellie's arc from a 15-year-old to a 19-year-old and getting to show that through her costumes. It was wonderful. It's one of the things I'm the most proud about.
All right. I'd say pretty much like any episode, I'm so excited to bring it to screen. And with The Last of Us, it's very hard because the original material is already so beautiful, and it sets such a high bar for the level of visual storytelling and overall lighting and composition, everything. So a lot of times when you're trying to find like cinematic tools to put that on the screen, it's very challenging to kind of bring it closer. But I'd say from season 2, episode 6 for sure is very special for me, and especially the space capsule sequence was very exciting. I was really looking forward to creating that.
I'd have to go with 6 as well. I think there's something pretty special about when Neil's directing, because he's lived with, Craig as well, but Neil's lived with this for decades, basically, knows this stuff inside out. So, there's a certain, it's just, honestly, it's great to see. There's one time in particular where he and Hallie Gross, his co-writer, were walking out of the Space Museum after it was lit and dressed, and they were literally almost in tears. It was so emotional for them, and he describes a lot of these sets as, surreal to walk into when they're done in real life. So I take a lot of, joy out of that, and seeing his face in particular.
I think for me, it damn nearly killed me, but episode 2 for sure. Just the amount of visual effects was a lot of fun and a big challenge for all of our team, the vendors, but it's just a beautiful episode as well. Just you could take that out and it just becomes almost like a feature film of its own. But obviously there's this other little thing that happens in that episode besides the horde. So yeah, it was just a great moment in my career to work on an episode like that. Yeah.
I think episode 2 for me as well, and very similarly, I think it was the most challenging episode this season. I think I talked to Craig early on. He was like, "Oh, you're going to be really busy in episode 2," and then I sort of, expected, okay, there's going to be a bit of some action or something like that. And then I saw the Battle of Jackson, and it was like, oh my God, he wasn't kidding. It was insane. But also, episode 1, on this show, I have the amazing honor of working alongside Gustavo Santaolalla, who's just, an incredible composer and has shepherded the musical identity of the show for such a long time. And I think episode 1 was a really nice mix of my work and Gustavo's work, so both of those.
Craig, do you have a favorite child?
No, because it's all one thing. I know there are episodes because there has to be, but I think of it all as a piece, and then I think of seasons now as one thing. So there are episodes that we work on, then there's a season, then there are more episodes, there's another season. But to me, all of it is commenting on all of it. Everything that we do is setting up moments later, little things that visually or sonically you experience are going to come back later. So to me, they're all my kids. And like I tell my 2 kids, I love you both equally, even though, of course, one of them is a little better than the other.
So it is extremely fitting that most of you were talking about episodes 2 and episode 6 of this season, because those are the 2 episodes that we are going to take a look at today. Let's start with episode 2. Going with the easy part first. Well, not easy for them.
Bell! Bell! Hit the bell! They're coming!
Raiders are infected!
Infected! 5 minutes out!
Follow the plan. I'll take the roofs. You take Main Street.
I think there's a visual effects shot in every single shot of this. Every single thing you see. Obviously the big things, you certainly know when the horde shows up, there's going to be visual effects, but everything here to make the weather consistent, to the backgrounds, all of it. I think ultimately Alex had to touch nearly everything here.
And this was a little section that you added of the townsfolk going underneath basement.
Yeah. We had always talked about this as kind of like our Helm's Deep, and then, we got this comment back, which I thought was really astute, that just a little glimpse of who was at stake here, the civilians. And then it was like, oh yeah, that's what they did in Helm's Deep also. So we Helm's Deeped it, which is always a good thing to do. I mean, look at this. So right here is a great example. That little shot of that horde coming, most of those faces are real. That's prosthetic work done by Barry Gower, and then some of them are not. And I can't tell the difference anymore.
Good.
Yeah. Nice work.
David, I had a question for you here. Obviously we've got two very important scenes happening in tandem, and the music is so critical to both of them. What was most important to you as you were writing that juxtaposition into the music?
Well, this one was really challenging because I think right from earlier in this episode, when you first see the infected come out of the snow, Craig was like, how do we start this at 11 but then keep going up for the whole episode? So it was kind of, this was a real trick of building momentum and feeling like it was just relentless. And it was a little bit of more is more. And then at the end of the episode, it was kind of the opposite with the pivotal scene with Joel. Everyone's been avoiding saying this, saying what this is. So
He died.
Oh, okay. He did? I wasn't sure.
Yeah, he died.
It was really funny. Gustavo and I played this show on stage, and we played some music, and they were like, okay, we're gonna play some video behind you, and we didn't know what they were going to play, and we're playing what we think is a lovely medley, and they're playing the whole death right behind us, and the crowd, I can just see that they're like totally disturbed. I didn't know what they were looking at, but with that scene, I remember coming on the first version, something much busier, and Craig sort of saying like, let's strip it back, and it was a less is more situation with Joel's death, which is, it really tends to be one or the other with this show. Obviously, this requires some heavy ammunition, a scene like this.
Look at this. Look at this. Do you know how much time we spent on this? Do you know how much time we spent on that? Oh, it's my favorite.
All right, guys, we need to take a quick break, but we will be right back with more from the creators of The Last of Us here at IGN Live.
This is live?